It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the Science Bowl. Here we are in our 32nd year. We have 6 beautiful players here today, all ready to show you how much they know. Play along and test your own science IQs. Let's meet today's teams. First, from Cooper Lane Elementary School, would you please say hello to Drexel Pareja, Francesco Rodriguez, and Alex Ajicum. And from Scotchtown Hills Elementary School, would you say hello to Amadou Kaloga, Esther Bolenriwa, and Kari Mole. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
And here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points. The tougher ones, 15, 20, ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points, no penalties ever for incorrect answers. End of the 2 rounds, one of these 2 good-looking, talented teams will come back to play our game again and perhaps advance into the next round of competition. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly. Let's go to the red team. Francesco, would you try that buzzer? Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Drexel, and to Alex. And Esther, would you try the green teams? That's a group push over there. They're ready and rare, and Esther and Kari and Amadou. I just have to say, everyone looks a little scared, and you're here. You've already won because your schools have chosen you as ambassadors, and you're all going to do a great job here today. So, win or lose, we're going to have a good time, all right? We go alphabetically. C comes before S, so Cooper Lane and Francesco, let's play the bowl. Go.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. We're starting out with a visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio. Back in the 1960s and 70s, a lot of people had these lamps in their houses. They're kind of funky looking. That gooey stuff on the inside is supposed to represent the molten rock that comes from a volcano. Cooper Lane.
Lava?
Lava, yeah. Drexel says, I know that. That's a lava lamp. Yeah. You can still get them online. You can get them, but not in the store so much. Go red.
Green things for 10 points.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, a lot of the processed foods we eat, like cereals and all, they contain an oil from these trees. These trees have fruit. Trees that grow in the tropics and are known to sway. What trees are they that grow in the tropics that are often described as swaying?
Palm trees.
Palm trees. That's it, Francesco. Yeah, palm fruits give us palm oil. It's not the healthiest oil, but it is rich in energy. Go red.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, there was a man who studied genetics by the name of Gregor Mendel. He used peas. But there was another man named Frederick Mueller who used these insects to study genetics. These insects have almost all the same genes we do, and we find them in our houses flying around mushy bananas. Scotchtown Hills.
Gnats.
Not gnats, good try. You find these insects flying around mushy fruit, and they have 80% of the same genes we do. We use them to study genetics.
Flies?
More specifically.
Housefly?
Fruit flies. Fruit flies. That's why I put in mushy banana. Yeah, I'm trying to give you, to listen to everything I say here. Good tries, no points, go green. Esther.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, you have a canal in your ear. you have islands in your pancreas, and you have these, even though they're not as big as the Golden Gate, in your nose. Bridge. Scotchtown Hills.
Bridge.
A bridge, yeah. Kari, she heard that Golden Gate. She said, bridge, I know it. Good, go. Green.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, we were just talking about mushy bananas. Well, a lot of the bananas we eat, they're called Cavendish bananas. They are being threatened by something called Fusarium wilt, W-I-L-T. Wilt is actually what kind of organism, much like causes athlete's foot or yeast that is used when baking bread.
Fungus?
You got that right, a fungus. We just described a couple fungi. Nicely done. Good listening over there. Go red.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, if you saw the original Despicable Me movie, listen to me, Alex. If you saw the original Despicable Me movie, Gru tried to steal what heavenly body?
The moon?
The moon, that's right, yeah. And he shrunk it up a little like this. Good, red, go.
Body system for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Here's a multiple choice question. There was a cartoon character by the name of Mr. Magoo. He suffered from myopia. Was he hard of hearing? Was he nearsighted? Or was he mute? All right, Scotchtown Hills. Mr. Magoo, what was he?
He was mute.
He wasn't mute. No, was he mute? Was he nearsighted or hard of hearing because he suffered from myopia?
Hard of hearing?
No, opia was your clue. Opia refers to the eyes. He was nearsighted. Yeah, he used to go up and start talking to mailboxes. He couldn't see too well. Yeah, go again, red.
Size potpourri for 5.
Size potpourri for 5 points. This is a strange question, guys. Chopped golf balls were found mixed in with these root vegetables that were used to make hash browns.
Potato?
Potatoes, yeah. Someone mistakenly put those golf balls in. They didn't harm anybody, but they sure didn't taste right, and they didn't feel too good on the roof of the mouth. All right, 90 to 55, red team is ahead. Go, Francesco.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. All right, teams. You know in the fall, leaves turn red, much like that pretty red you guys have on over there at Scotchtown Hills. That red color on the fall leaves, it could be a sign to insects, stay away. Don't eat me, don't you lay your eggs on me. Or the red color could be an SPF that would protect the leaves from being damaged by the what? Scotchtown Hills.
The sun.
The sun, absolutely, a SPF. The sun protective factor. Good playing over there, Kari. All right, that brought you right up there. Almost a tie score, 90 for Cooper Lane, 70 for Scotchtown Hills. We'll be back with part 2 in just a moment. Don't you go away. And welcome back to Science Ball. Hope you're enjoying this game at home as much as we are here in the studio. And we have 6 great players here, some of whom have been here before. Let's go over and introduce them all to you. Let's go to Cooper Lane first. And Francesco, tell us about Cooper Lane. Who is your principal?
Dr. Smith.
Yes, out there rooting for you. And the sponsor of your team, who's your coach?
Miss Argalita.
Miss Margalita. And she has been sending us wonderful teams for many, many, many years. And Maria, thank you for all the support you've given to us. And you always send us great players here. And any alternates on your team, Francesco?
There's
What are their first names?
Yeah, Chris. There's Christian, and that's really him.
That's good. And we'll bring out the alternate in with Miss Argalita in just a few moments here. If I asked you what the best thing about Cooper Lane was, what do you brag about when you tell people about your school? What do you like there?
Just the amount of people I met. Like, I met so many friends there.
It's a really nice observation. A lot of people tell me about the great programs and after school and teachers, but you know, life is about friendships. And if you make some good friends there, that makes it a special place. That's a nice answer. Thank you. Tell me what you want to do someday.
I want to become an astronomer because space has always become a really great interest with me, and also become a photographer because I want to travel the world. And the last thing that I want to do is become a video game creator, because video games have been with me since I was a child.
Wow, you're so mature at this age. You got your whole life planned out. And it's a lot of adventure, and that's what life is. It's an adventure. Use the world as best you can, and enjoy yourself here. Thanks for sharing all that. Alex, tell us about yourself. What do you want to do someday?
Someday I want to become a lawyer because I like to argue and I like to fight for people's rights.
Yeah, and I think that's important. We all need advocates, because we can't know everything, so we need someone to fight our battles sometimes. That's a great, noble ambition. What do you do in your spare time?
Sometimes I like to watch science videos or I play video games.
Wonderful. Well, you're doing all the right things, and you're a serious-minded young man, and you're doing a nice job here today. Drexel, nice to see you back again. You're an old pro here at Science Bowl. What do you like about the show?
I like how there's questions and answers. It just gets your mind ready.
Yeah, that's it. Because we want you to make connections, and you make those connections real well. What do you see yourself doing someday?
What I see myself is that I always like to cup stack, and I don't know why I'm now stuck to it.
Yeah.
And I became interested in it.
Well, you're young here, and your interests are going to change, but the skills you learn now, like what you're doing here, that's going to translate. No experience is wasted. It'll help you to discover who you are. What do you do in your spare time? Because I know you like sports, don't you?
Yeah.
What's your favorite sport? Other than cup stacking?
Yeah, soccer.
Soccer. Well, you look like you could be a good soccer player. All right, let's move over to the Scotchtown Hills team. And Esther, tell us about Scotchtown Hills, school up there in Laurel, Maryland. And who's your principal?
Miss Prevost.
Wonderful. And I know she's out there and she's wishing you well. And you've got two sponsors that have been with the school for many, many years. Tell us who they are.
We have Miss Doris and Mrs. Taylor.
Yeah, our two Jennifers, and they have been there 16 and 19 years respectively. And both Jennifers, thank you for all the support you've given Science Bowl. It means a lot to us here. And you're lucky to have those two people up there looking out for you. What do you like about Scotchtown Hills?
The teachers are really great, and the fact that we're a green school.
You are a?
Green school.
A green school. So yeah, you're conscious of the environment with everything you do. That's an important lesson for all of us to learn. Any alternates on your team, Esther?
We have Annie and Fiona.
They'll both be out here, Annie and Fiona. They were waiting for you to say their names, and we'll see them in just a few moments here. Esther, professionally, what do you want to do someday?
I want to become a dentist.
A dentist, yeah. And you want to go to Johns Hopkins or no?
I want to go to Princeton University.
Princeton, yes. Those are great ambitions, Always go for the best. Always go for the best. You're a great captain, too. Kara, you know an awful lot about science. How do you know so much about science?
Well, my dad's a teacher and my mom's a preschool teacher, so I've always had worksheets come home with science, dealing with science, so I just learned.
Wow, so you could never get away from school, could you?
No.
You go to school and you have school at home too. Well, it's work to your advantage, and I'm sure your parents are very proud of you. You've been on Science Bowl before, have you not?
Yes.
And Esther has as well, and Amadou, this is your first time, is it not? So what do you think so far?
I mean, it's fun.
You having some fun?
Yeah.
Good. And you're racking up some points over there. Tell me the Amadou story. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a basketball player or a writer.
Or a
I want to
writer.
write my own books.
You could do both. You could be a sports writer. Some of the sports writers, if you watch Real Sports on TV, if you read the Washington Post, that is real literature, and maybe you'd be good at that. What do you do in your spare time? Do you play basketball?
Yeah, I play basketball. I like to hang out, play video games with my friends. I like to read fictional books like Captain Underpants, Big Nate.
We were talking about Captain Underpants. Yeah, that's one of those things you don't want to put down. It's a fun book to read. All right, let's get back into the game. 70 for Scotchtown Hills, 90 for Cooper Lane. Lots of points to give away. Some of the tougher questions await. Start us out, Esther.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, be careful when you use those tooth whiteners, because if you use too many of them, you could damage what hard part of your tooth? Scotchtown Hills.
The enamel.
The enamel, absolutely right. Thank you, Kari. Go, green.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline science for 15 points. A score check, 90 to 85, almost a tie. Dateline for 15 points. This year's Nobel Prize in medicine went to 3 Americans who studied circadian rhythms. Circadian rhythms all are about this we have inside us. It doesn't tick. It's not our heart, but it keeps us on schedule. It has our own internal body what? Esther. What you want to tell me?
Clock.
Answer, please.
The clock.
Say it again.
The clock.
The clock, absolutely right. Your body clock. That's why when you fly from here, maybe to California, you don't feel like yourself because you've upset your body clock. You go through a lot of different time zones. Yeah, you banded that one a bat for a while before you came through. Good answer. Okay, you're in the lead by 10. Go green.
Zoo parade for 5.
Zoo parade for 5 points. Teams, Edgar Allan Poe's famous poem is the reason the NFL team in Baltimore is called These Birds.
Ravens.
Scotchtown Hills.
The Ravens.
The Ravens, yeah. Come on, guys, let's listen. Let's get on that buzzer, all right? Alex, you're sitting there kind of all like this. Let's mix it up over there. Go green.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, Honey Nut Cheerios. That company is on a campaign to bring back and save the bees. What else do you want to tell me? Okay, you were going to give me bees. All right, Cooper Lane, you got an advantage here. Honey Nut Cereals Company is on a campaign to save and bring back the bees because bees perform what important job to make sure the cereal gets to us?
Honey?
No, pollination. Pollination. They pollinate the plants so that we can get the food that we eventually eat. Okay, green again.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline science for 5 points. Teams, recently on the radar screen at an airport, they saw this big mass, and it wasn't airplanes, it was butterflies. Thousands and thousands of painted lady butterflies that were migrating. They look almost identical to Francesca.
Monarch butterflies?
Yeah, you're way ahead of me. Nicely done, Francesca. They look just like monarchs, the most famous migrators of them all. Go, red.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, be careful. Don't get a vaccination if you know that the vaccine, and most of them do, contain a protein called albumin. So if you're allergic to what, you should not get vaccinated. That was a confusing question. Don't get vaccinated if you're allergic to these things because they contain a protein called albumin. Eggs. Eggs was the right answer. Go again, red.
Let's get physical for 15.
Get physical for 15 points. Teams, the NASA space program. Some of you guys are interested in space. Before the Gemini and Apollo programs, the first program had the same name as a planet, a fleet-footed god, and the chemical element that is liquid and has the symbol Hg. Scotchtown Hills.
Mercury.
Mercury, absolutely right. Mercury the planet, Mercury the fleet-footed god, and Mercury the chemical element. All right, green.
Zoo parade for 15.
Zoo parade for 15 points. Teams, your question is, listen to this. This is a big word. There's a clue in the word. Listen carefully. There's an animal called a pika, P-I-K-A. It's like a fat rabbit. It is ventriloquial. It's ventriloquial, which means to throw off its predators, it can throw its own what?
Quills? Quills?
Not quills, no. It is ventriloquial. That's your clue. It's ventriloquial, which means to throw off its predators, it can throw its own what? Voice. Voice. A ventriloquist. You know a ventriloquist? You know when someone sits there and you got the puppet, you know, and you can't see the other person's mouth moving? That's a ventriloquist. So this animal can actually throw its voice so it makes it sound like, hey, I'm over there, but I'm really over here. Pretty neat trick. Go green.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. The loudest stadium in the NFL is Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. They have measured the loudness at 142.2 of these units.
Decibels.
These units, Cooper Lane.
Decibels.
Decibels, that's it. Good. Red.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, there is pee in your pee. Yes, they think that they can take human urine and sterilize it and take out the P, which stands for the phosphorus, which is a good fertilizer, as well as the N, which is a good fertilizer. What does the N stand for, Cooper Lane?
Nitrogen?
Nitrogen, yeah. Nitrogen and phosphorus in urine. If we could get it out, we could use it as a fertilizer. All right, 130 to 120. Very close game. Advantage red.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Little Miss Muffet, she sat on her tuffet, eating these two milk proteins, one which was all clumped up and one was liquid. Some people call it cottage cheese. What two things was she eating? Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet, eating her what? What you got?
Dairy. Dairy.
Not dairy, no. Cooper Lane, do you know this nursery rhyme? What was she eating? What two milk proteins, one which was all clumped together and one which was liquid? What you got? She was eating her curds and whey. Curds and whey. I'm not seeing too many looks of recognition over there. All right, go red.
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Teams, you know what an armadillo is. Armadillos used to be put into a group called edentates. Well, they didn't leave it in there long because someone finally opened an armadillo's mouth and they found 100 little what's inside? Scotchtown Hills?
Teeth.
Teeth, yeah. Edentates means no teeth. Well, it does have teeth. They're just itty bitty. Okay, green. Ahead by 10.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio, please. Back in 1665, a man by the name of Robert Hooke looked through a microscope for the first time and he saw the first cells ever seen. These cells are taken from just inside the bark of a tree. These cells make up what material that we know is used to make the tops put in wine bottles, and these things float up and down. What is that substance called that is in a tree that is buoyant?
Tree sap?
Not sea sap, no. What's the
Tree sap.
substance just underneath the bark that is used to make the stoppers in wine bottles and also we know famously can float? Corks. Cork was the right answer. Go again, green.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for?
20.
20 points. All right, teams, your question is as follows. You know, if you're stung by a jellyfish, some people say if you put urine on it, it'll take the sting away. Sometimes it works. Or you can use something called Adolph's meat tenderizer. You put it on there and that'll take away the pain. Because what kind of catalytic chemical is in that tenderizer? It is an E-initial chemical that helps to break down in your body certain kinds of foods. Those are enzymes. Enzymes. Try again, green.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science, 20 points. Here's your question for you. This is 2017. This is the 60th anniversary of the launching of this first ever satellite that the Russians put up and started Scotchtown Hills.
Pass it to Amadou.
Amadou?
The Hubble Space Telescope.
Not the Hubble Space Telescope. The first satellite ever launched 60 years ago in 1957. The Russians did it, and it started the space race between us and Russia. What was its name, Cooper Lane?
Pass it.
Drexel.
Sputnik 1.
Sputnik, absolutely right. Good answer, young man. Good, go. All right, all the toughest questions left. 135 to 140. This is it's tied. 140, no. We're up to 150. You have a 10-point lead. Go, Francesco.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, if someone is cut badly and you're trying to stop the blood, you can apply pressure. If that doesn't work, you can tie a tourniquet up on the arm to cut off the supply of blood. I'm going to give you 25 points if you can spell tourniquet. All right, who's going to be the speller at Scotchtown Hills? Spell tourniquet. Kari.
Turnicket.
Good try. Good try, Cooper Lane. Who's my speller? Spell tourniquet. All right, Drexel, come on, man. You can do it.
Tourniquet.
Good try. Tourniquet. Tough word, no points. Uh-oh, the buzzer says that's it. The tourniquet says our game is over, and that means by it looks like 10 points, Cooper Lane is moving on. We'll double check that score and be back with you in a moment. Welcome back, boys. This was anybody's game. That lead went back and forth and back and forth. That testifies to how evenly matched these young scholars were. We're proud of all of them. Look at that score. It couldn't be any closer. Scotchtown Hills 140, Cooper Lane 150. Alex and Francesco and Drexel. Let's see some smiles over there. You guys won. Miss Arcolita, congratulations to you, and also to Christian, who is the alternate back there. He knew all these answers. I know he did. Scotchtown Hills, you played a super game. I don't want you to leave. Kari, you are the lady of the moment here. You knew everything today. Esther, magnificent captain. Amadou, you brought all of your skills here today too. And Annie and Fiona, wave to everybody. Annie and Fiona, they are the alternates and our two, the double threat, the double Jennifers over there. Miss Doris and Miss Taylor, thank you for all that you do and for sending us a great team as always. And we hope to see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Dave Zarin, see you then. Bye-bye.